Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Amia. In this episode, we're gonna look at pricing factors for some core AWS services. Amazon EC2 lets you create and scale virtual servers anytime from anywhere. When you estimate the cost of using EC2, you need to consider the following factors. Clock hours of server time. EC2 instances are billed when they are running, from the time instances are launched until they are stopped. You need to consider instance types, including instance families and sizes. EC2 provides a wide selection of instance types optimized to fit different use cases. Instance types comprise combinations of CPU, memory, storage, and networking capacity. You should choose the right pricing model for your workload. With on-demand instances, you pay for compute capacity by hours without minimum commitment. You can reserve instances if you want to receive a significant discount. Reserved instances give you the option to pay all upfront, partial upfront, or no upfront payment at all. The more you pay upfront, the greater discount you get. With spot instances, you can leverage unused EC2 capacity for steep discounts. You should consider the appropriate number of EC2 instances for your workload, so they can handle the peak workload. For example, you can choose one instance to handle a workload for 10 hours, or choose 10 instances to handle the same workload for 1 hour. The amount you pay for is the same. You should generally choose more instances for a shorter time. Elastic load balancing can distribute traffic among EC2 instances. The number of hours that ELB runs and the amount of data it processes contribute to the monthly cost. You can use CloudWatch to monitor your EC2 instances. By default, basic monitoring is enabled. You can also turn on the detailed monitoring for more insight. Detailed monitoring contributes to monthly costs. Auto-scaling automatically adjusts the number of EC2 instances according to conditions you define. There is no additional charge beyond CloudWatch fees. You can associate an elastic IP address associated with a running instance at no charge. You will pay for any detached EIP that is not associated with any instance. Operating system prices are normally included in instance prices. You can also choose bring your own licenses. There are additional charges to run third-party platforms and software packages. AWS Lambda lets you run code without provisioning or managing servers. You pay only for the compute time you consume. There is no charge when your code is not running. With Lambda, you are charged based on the number of requests for your functions and the time it takes for your code to execute. Lambda registers a request each time it starts executing in response to an event or invokes call, including test invokes from the console. You are charged for the total number of requests across all your functions. Duration is calculated from the time your code begins executing until it returns or otherwise terminates, rounded up to the nearest 100 milliseconds. The price depends on the amount of memory you allocate to the function. For request pricing, your first 1 million requests per month are included in the free tier. After the first 1 million requests, you pay 20 cents per million requests. For duration pricing, you get 400,000 gigabytes to seconds free per month. After that, you pay per gigabyte to second rate. You may incur additional charges if the Lambda function uses other AWS services or transfers data. For example, if the Lambda function reads data from or writes data to S3 buckets, you will be billed for the read and write requests and the data stored in S3. EBS provides block-level storage volumes for EC2 instances. EBS volumes are off-instance storage that persists independently from the life of an instance. For example, when you terminate an EC2 instance, you may still be charged for EBS volumes if you set delete on termination to false. When you estimate the cost of EBS, you need to consider the following. You need to choose the right volume types for the workloads. Different volume types have different prices and suit different workloads. SSD-backed volumes are optimized for transactional workloads involving frequent read and write operations with small I/O sizes, where the dominant performance attribute is IOPS. HDD-backed volumes are optimized for large streaming workloads where throughput, measured in megabits per second, is a better performance measure than IOPS. SSD-backed volumes are more expensive than HDD-backed volumes. EBS volume storage for all EBS volume types is charged by the amount of gigabytes you provision per month, until you release the storage. EBS snapshot storage is based on the amount of space your data consumes in S3, because snapshots are stored in S3. If you copy a cross-region snapshot, you will be charged based on the volume of data transferred across regions. For the first snapshot of a volume, EBS saves a full copy of your data to S3. For each incremental snapshot, only the changed part of the EBS volume will be saved. Inbound data transfer is free in most cases. AWS charges tiered prices for outbound data transfer. Amazon S3 is the object-based storage built to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere. It is designed to deliver 11/9 durability. S3 provides the simplicity and cost-effectiveness of pay-as-you-go pricing. With Amazon S3, you pay only for the storage you use, with no minimum fee. Unlike EBS volumes, there is no provisioning in S3. Prices are based on the location of your S3 bucket. When you estimate the cost of S3, consider the following. There are different storage classes. We have S3 Standard, S3 Infrequent Access, S3 One Zone Infrequent Access, and S3 Intelligent Tier. Each class provides a different level of redundancy at different prices. S3 offers tiered prices based on the total space you consume. You pay per gigabyte rate for the total size of all objects in S3 buckets. Prices vary in different regions. AWS charges read and write requests such as GET, LIST, and PUT when you use the Management Console, CLI, and API. For example, when you use S3 Console to browse objects, you incur charges for GET and LIST requests. Rates are based on per 1,000 requests and vary in different regions. GET requests are less expensive than other requests. Data transfer into S3 is free. Prices for data transferred out to other regions or to the internet vary per gigabyte rates in different regions. You can pay extra for transfer acceleration to leverage AWS Edge locations. If you use S3 with CloudFront, data transfer out of S3 to CloudFront is free. However, you need to pay for data transferred from CloudFront to S3. S3 Select allows you to use SQL command to query directly on data, without retrieving the entire data. You pay for S3 Select based on total data scanned and data returned. Amazon S3 Glacier is a secure, durable, and extremely low-cost cloud storage service for data archive and long-term backup. It is designed to deliver 11/9 durability. Glacier provides comprehensive security and compliance capabilities to help you meet the most stringent regulatory requirements. Glacier also provides query-in-place functionality, allowing you to run powerful analytics directly on your archive data at rest. You can archive large amount of data at a very low cost. You pay only for what you need, with no minimum fees. Storage pricing for Glacier starts at 0.4 cents per gigabyte per month. Prices vary in different regions. Because Glacier is designed for very infrequent access and long-term archives, data retrieval is slower than S3. You pay different retrieval prices based on different retrieval time. The retrieval prices are charged based on the size of data retrievals and the number of retrieval requests. Data transferred into Glacier is free. However, you need to pay for data transferred out of Glacier to the internet or across different regions. S3 Glacier Select allows you to use SQL command to query directly on data stored in Glacier, without retrieving the entire archive. You pay for Glacier Select based on total data scanned and data returned. AWS Snowball is a petabyte-scale data transport solution that uses secure appliances to transfer large amounts of data into and out of the AWS cloud. Snowball uses a secure physical device to transport data. When you order Snowball service, AWS physically sends the Snowball device to you. You load the data into Snowball device and send the device back to AWS. After receiving the device, AWS helps you load data into S3. You can even order a snowmobile truck if you need exabyte-scale data transportation. Each snowmobile can transport up to 100 petabyte data. With AWS Snowball, you pay a service fee per data transfer job, and the cost of shipping the appliance. Each job includes the use of a Snowball appliance for 10 days of on-site usage for free. There is a small charge for extra on-site days. Shipping days are not counted toward the 10 free days. With Snowball, data transferred into S3 doesn't incur any extra data transfer fees. Additional data transfer charges may apply if you use Snowball to transfer data out of S3. Prices vary by region. Amazon RDS is a web service that makes it easy to provision and scale relational databases in the cloud. The factors that drive the costs of Amazon RDS include clock hours of server time. RDS DB instances incur charges when they are running, from the time you launch a DB instance until you terminate it. The physical capacity of the database you choose will affect how much you are charged. Database characteristics vary depending on the database engine, size, and memory class. Depending on your application's needs, different DB instance purchase options have different pricing. With on-demand DB instances, you pay for compute capacity for each hour your DB instance runs, with no minimum fees. You can also purchase reserved RDS DB instances to get significant discounts on the hourly usage charge. With Amazon RDS, you can provision multiple DB instances to handle peak loads. You will be charged for database storage you provision. It's billed per gigabyte month. Prices vary for different storage classes in different regions. There is no additional charge for backup storage of up to 100% of the provisioned database storage for an active DB instance. Any additional backup storage exceeds 100% of your provisioned storage is billed per gigabyte per month. After the DB instance is terminated, backup storage is billed per gigabyte per month. Snapshot Export provides an automated method to export data within an RDS or Aurora snapshot to S3 in Parquet format. You can analyze the exported data with other AWS data analytic services such as Athena, EMR, and SageMaker. Snapshot export is billed per gigabyte of snapshot size. Depending on the storage types, you will pay for the number of input and output requests to the database. You can deploy your DB instance to a single availability zone or multiple availability zones. Instance hourly rate, storage and I/O charges can vary. Inbound data transfer is free. However, you need to pay for the outbound data transfer. Amazon RDS also offers Aurora Serverless, which allows you to pay what you consume. With Aurora Serverless, your database capacity automatically scales up or down instead of provision RDS DB instance. Database capacity is measured in Aurora capacity units. You pay 6 cents per ACU hour. One ACU has approximately 2 gigabytes of memory with corresponding CPU and networking. Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database service for applications that need consistent, single-digit millisecond latency at any scale. Unlike traditional database deployments, you need to provision instances for CPU capacity, memory, and storage space. With DynamoDB, you don't need to provision CPU, memory, or storage space, you only pay for the resources you consume. DynamoDB comes in 2 flavors: on-demand capacity and provision capacity. With on-demand capacity, you pay for read and write requests that application performs on your tables. You don't need to specify how much read and write throughput you expect. With provision capacity, you need to specify the number of data reads and writes per second. You can use auto-scaling to automatically adjust the capacity. DynamoDB capacities are measured in write capacity units, WCU, and read capacity units, RCU. Each API call to write data to your table is a write request. Each API call to read data from your table is a read request. One WCU can perform one write request for items up to 1 kilobyte per second. When you perform read requests, you can choose a strongly consistent read or eventually consistent read. Strongly consistent read allows you to read the new data immediately after the updates. Eventually consistent read means data may be eventually consistent after the update. One RCU can perform one strongly consistent read request or 2 eventually consistent read requests for items up to 4 kilobytes per second. DynamoDB also provides transactional styled reads and writes. You can use the DynamoDB transactional read and write APIs to manage complex business workflows that require adding, updating, or deleting multiple items as a single, all-or-nothing operation, both within and across tables. Transactions provide atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability, ACID, in DynamoDB. There is no additional cost to enable transactions for your DynamoDB tables. You pay only for the reads or writes that are part of your transaction. Transactional requests need 2 WCUs or 2 RCUs to perform the same size of write requests or read requests per second. For read and write requests, you are billed per million requests. Request prices are different for on-demand capacity, provision capacity, and reserved capacity modes. DynamoDB measures index data storage as billable data. It is the raw byte size of the data, plus a per item storage overhead of 100 bytes for indexing. You do not need to provision storage with DynamoDB. You only pay for what you use. You need to pay for both backups and restore based on total size billed per gigabyte. Data transfer into DynamoDB is free. Data transfer out of DynamoDB to other AWS services in the same region is also free. You will pay for a cross-region data transfer. You can enable some advanced features of DynamoDB, such as global tables, DAX, and DynamoDB streams. Additional fees may apply. DynamoDB global tables provide a fully managed solution for deploying a multi-region, multi-master database, without having to build and maintain the replication. DynamoDB charges for global tables usage based on the resources used on each replica table. Write requests for global tables are measured in replicated WCUs instead of standard WCUs. DynamoDB Accelerator, DAX, provides in-memory acceleration. You can use DAX as a caching service that enables you to benefit from fast in-memory performance. Pricing is per node hour consumed and is dependent on the instance type you select. DynamoDB Stream is an ordered flow of changes to items in a DynamoDB table. When you enable a stream on a table, DynamoDB captures information about every modification to data items in the table. You need to pay for data read from DynamoDB streams and read request units. Amazon CloudFront is AWS Global Content Delivery Network using edge locations and Amazon Ultrafast Network to cache content and accelerate data transfer. CloudFront charges are based on the data transfers and requests used to deliver content to your customers. Data transfer from the origins of AWS Services to CloudFront is free. When you estimate the cost of CloudFront, you need to consider the following. You need to pay for traffic distribution. Data transfer and request pricing varies across geographic regions, and pricing is based on the edge location through which your content is served. You need to pay for the number and types of HTTP requests made. Prices vary depending on the geographic region in which the requests are made. You need to pay for the amount of data transferred out of edge locations either to end users or transferred out to the origins. One of the reasons startups choose AWS is that you can quickly explore and experiment with different AWS services. Over 60 AWS services come with Free Tier. There are 3 types of Free Tier services. We have services that are always free with certain usage limits. We have services that are free for the first 12 months, from the date you sign up with AWS. Some services offer a time-based free trial for you to quickly experiment and explore the functionality. Here are some examples of AWS Free Tier services. The following Free Tier services are always free with certain limits. With DynamoDB, you get up to 200 million free requests per month, 25 free write capacity units and 25 free read capacity units, 25 gigabytes free index data storage, 2.5 million free stream read requests per month. With Glacier, you can retrieve up to 10 gigabytes of data per month for free. With Lambda, you get 1 million free requests per month, up to 3.2 million seconds free compute time per month. Some free tier services are only available to new AWS customers in the first 12 months. With EC2, you get 750 free hours per month of T2 micro or T3 micro instance usage in the first 12 months. With S3, you get 5 GB free storage of S3 standard class, 20,000 GET requests and 2,000 PUT requests for free in the first 12 months. With RDS, you get 750 free hours of single AZ, DBT2 micro instances, 20 GB free general purpose SSD database storage, and 20 GB free backup storage in the first 12 months. With CloudFront, you get 50 GB free outbound data transfer, 2 million HTTP and HTTPS requests each month for free in the first 12 months. AWS also offers free utility services. These services are either as part of AWS infrastructure or utility tools to use with other AWS services. AWS Identity and Access Management is free. You can create users, groups, roles, manage and control access for free. AWS well-architected tool allows you to review the state of your workloads and compares them to the latest AWS architectural best practices. It's free to use. AWS Organizations helps you centrally govern your AWS accounts. It helps you share resources, consolidate billing, control access, compliance, and security across multiple AWS accounts. It's free to use. AWS License Manager makes it easier to manage software licenses from software vendors, such as Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, and IBM, across AWS and on-premises environments. It is free to use. AWS Personal Health Dashboard gives a personalized view of the health of AWS services. It is free for all customers. Amazon VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, is free. VPC is the logical separation of AWS resources. You can use VPC for free, however, you may pay for resources you provision inside a VPC, such as EC2 instances, elastic load balancers. AWS Autoscaling monitors AWS resources with CloudWatch, and manages autoscaling for EC2 instances, ECS containers, DynamoDB. It's free to use autoscaling, however, you need to pay for CloudWatch monitoring and resources you scale. AWS Shield Standard provides protections for all AWS customers from common DDoS attacks. It's free for all customers. AWS CloudFormation allows you to automate provisioning resources with infrastructure as code. It's free to use. Please note that there is no additional charge for using AWS CloudFormation with resource providers in AWS predefined naming spaces. However, you will pay for AWS CloudFormation from third-party resource providers. By and large, you will use AWS predefined naming spaces. AWS Elastic Beanstalk lets you easily deploy and run your applications. It's free to use. However, you need to pay for underlying resources, such as EC2, EBS, ELB, RDS, S3. In this episode, we've learned fundamental drivers of cost and pricing factors of various AWS services. Normally, compute capacity is billed based on clock hours. Storage and outbound data transfer are billed per gigabyte of data. We have gone through the pricing factors for some AWS core services. You need to understand what determines the prices and what incurs costs for these services. You don't need to memorize the prices for these services. AWS offers free tier for over 60 services. Some services come with free limits and never expire. Some free tier services are free for new AWS customers. AWS also offers free utility services for all customers. You can use them with other AWS resources. These utility services are normally used to help optimize your AWS infrastructure. While they are free to use, you have to pay for other AWS resources. Okay, that's all for AWS pricing. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode. Hope you've enjoyed watching this episode. If you liked the video, please help us and hit the like button. If you want to watch more tutorials, please subscribe to the Cloudemy TV channel. Make sure to turn on the notification and stay tuned. At Cloudemy, we're passionate about cloud and AI technology. Please share your feedback and thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to watch. Happy watching and happy learning.